We Real Reels. Welcome to We Real Reels, the monthly podcast where we review old movies to find out if they are as good as we remember or if they eat your pudding. I'm your host, Panda Brandon, and with me is my half-brother, the Grizzly Zay.
Hey.
And the beautiful Koala Sam.
Hello.
This podcast does contain spoilers, and we will be discussing the movie at length. This is a mature content podcast, so be prepared for harsh language and awkward situations. All sound clips, music, and trailers are only used for review purposes and belong to their respective owners. How are you guys feeling?
Tired. It was really early in the morning.
Yeah. Definitely pretty damn tired this last night.
Well, let's go ahead and get into this month's hypothetical. What if Henry hit Barry with his car? Do you think that they would become friends? Henry Ross from 50 First Dates.
I don't know, because his friend, what's his friend's name? Henry's Ula. He's pretty goofy.
You think
So
he'd
he
be at the dinner for Schmucks?
maybe.
Yeah, if he came around enough, I think it'd be real cool with him.
I think he would entertain it at least the first go around.
Man.
But in like more of a friend capacity, not how this couple in the movie went. I think it would be like more genuine because Henry is a pretty genuine person. I don't think he would. I mean, he goofed around and stuff, but I don't think he would be goofing around making fun of him. I think he'd just be goofing with him.
How do you think Ula would do at one of these dinners?
Ah, man, he'd probably win.
First place.
Yeah.
Hey, is there a Steve Carell, Adam Sandler movie out there?
Huh?
We need to make it happen.
Don't think so.
I don't know. They don't travel in the same circles.
I don't know. I feel like Adam Sandler always has like his crew with him.
Well, let's go ahead and get into our first segment of what you been doing, what you gonna do.
Hey, watch it, pal. What have you been doing? What are you gonna do, huh?
All right, man. I don't think mine's pretty fast, so I'm gonna go with mine first.
I don't know.
Got a couple plumbing jobs. Worked for Arvin's Plumbing in Mount Juliet for a little while. Awesome job. Very organized and clean and very helpful plumbers. So if you got a problem in Mount Juliet of Tennessee, call Arvin's Plumbing. They're awesome people. It's a Ron Arvin. He runs the company and he works with his sons and they do a dang good job. And they hired me on. I got to work there for like a week and a half until we realized the travel was not really going to work out. So it was an hour for me to get there, hour for me to get back, and there's no telling what time I was going to get off. It was a lot. So he reached out to the Hiller Company and put a good word in. I had an interview, so hopefully, cross my fingers, got a job there. But I've been working for Plumbing Solution, and they are very unorganized. I don't know what the hell's going on over
That
here.
is why you should not say no names.
I am there now, trying to learn plumbing, getting a little more familiar with the art of plumbing, and yeah, so that's where I'm at now. So hopefully, old Hiller calls me soon. Something, I guess, interesting, you could say, happened the other day. Grayson was looking for something. He wanted some kind of toy or something, and Koala had told him, yeah, it's in the living room under the something or another. And I'm in the kitchen. I hear him go, huh, that's interesting. It's not there. I couldn't tell if he was genuinely like going to use this word in sense or he's being a smart ass. I just thought that was hilarious, man. He's 4 years old using big words like interesting. So I was a little impressed. That's about it for me. Grizz?
Wait, you skipped the what you going to do next month?
Oh, I always do that, don't I? Next month, I'm hopefully going to be getting a job at Hiller, working in the plumbing there. And then that's about it. That's all I got to look forward to. Okay, that's it. I just really hope I get a job there.
There's
we can
no
get
holiday?
calls and we can have people on the podcast now.
Oh, that's interesting. When's
March.
Easter? Is that in March or is that April?
April.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, so I ain't really got nothing much coming up. Hopefully get that new job and then start working on my, license to get plumber, be a plumber man. Grizz, what you got?
Well, I think mine's pretty fast too, is that I'm in training to, be out by myself and my trainer, and a lot of people are pretty impressed with work ethic and all this stuff because they already have people like, oh, well, is this part of the job description? dude, you're a truck driver. That's what the hell you're supposed to do. You get on the road and you drive long hours, right? Right. I understood that, but there's a bunch of people that's coming in that's like, I didn't think that was a part of the job. Okay. So, I'm training. I've been there for 4 weeks, I believe, and I only got 2 weeks left before I'm out on my own. But I'm taking a week off.
Do you feel confident about?
I'm pretty confident. I'm getting my tools and stuff that I need for everything. But I'm taking a week off from training, from truck driving, from doing anything because I'm getting that cyst removed.
Finally doing it.
Finally doing it. So they're going to put me to sleep Monday. And when I wake up, I'm not going to have a cyst anymore.
You'll be cystless.
So there's no chance for it to coming back. Like once it's removed, it's removed.
It's just a slight chance.
Ah, damn.
But we'll see. It's better than, I believe it's better than like not doing anything and just waiting to see what happens. So at least I'm going to go ahead and get it taken care of. I'm tired of it.
So when you take a week off, can they just add that extra week of training at the end?
Either way, I only got 2 more weeks left to do this.
That's exciting.
Yeah. But everybody else would be like a week. It's like, but I'm such a fast learner. I don't think it matters. Because this dude apparently is real picky. So he's like, I can actually go in the back and fall asleep and know that you'll be okay. I'm like, yeah, bro, go ahead, man. So
that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Makes you feel good.
Yeah. Next step is to get out on my own. I got to start trip planning. I got to start figuring out places to stop and just everything that I need to do to prosper. I'm supposed to go this week. It's next week after my surgery's fine and get all these tools that my dad's got. He's got a truck that he hadn't used in like 3 or 4 years, probably longer than that. And he said it's got everything in there. So every tool that I could possibly need, crowbars, mallets and stuff, I'm gonna just take it from there. And at least I ain't gotta spend that much money on it.
You need all that stuff? Is that that's not provided with the? No. Oh.
You gotta buy your own tools. The only thing they give you is this little bar to like tighten down straps.
Oh.
And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But mallets and pliers and screwdrivers and drill, all that we have to provide ourselves. Damn. Yeah.
If someone does not have any of that, that's expensive.
Because I know I spent maybe $14 on a couple of tools. And I'm like, if I was to buy these brand new, I would probably already be like $70 in. Yeah. But we'll just keep it pushing. Try to keep learning this trucking stuff.
Okay. Yeah. It's exciting.
Koala, what you got?
Mine's short and sweet too. So what I did last month, we ended up taking our cub to the magnet school testing. I don't think he took it too seriously when we went in there, even though like we try to prep him beforehand. Like, we're about to get into this school, you have to take it seriously. But he gets in play mode. And I think he was in play mode, so he wasn't taking it seriously. We ended up getting the letter yesterday that he didn't get in that. So next month I got to figure out how to get him into the elementary school and do that. But this might be super lame to other people, but it's very exciting to me. So this book series that I have, it's The Thorn of Glass. I have the original covers. For some reason, the author decided to change the covers after, because I guess she wanted to be more mature. I didn't like the new covers. I started off with the original covers. These books, if you buy them brand new off of like Amazon, if you can find them, are like $50-$60 per book. That's ridiculous. I'm not doing that. So the Happy Book Stack, the used bookstore that I love to go to, I finally found 2 out of the 3 that I need. So I'm almost completed. It's taking me years to find these damn book covers. It's kind of irritating, but also at the same time, it's exciting. The Vitality contest that I did through the work, it's finally complete. So I told y'all last month that I was trying to do like stay in first, second place, but then literally the first day, these people are already doing like 30,000 steps and I'm over here doing like 7,000 steps. So I was like, I'm just going to stick to my own contest in my head. So I ended up getting second place to what I needed to do like 320,000 steps. So I did that. Man, first place, they had like million steps already. I'm like, I want to know if y'all are working, and I want to know what y'all are doing to get those many steps. So I ended up getting a couple hundred extra points off of doing that. And then I got a juicer, which I'm highly impressed with that. It it's a little time consuming to do it, but the juices are pretty good. I've done this apple, pineapple, and spinach. It just tastes like apple and pineapple juice. And it's impressive because like Panda and the Cub, they love it. Like Panda over here was like, when are you making it again? Like I want it. So I was like, it's a cool way to get the vegetables. Next month, I just need to get into different workouts. I was so concentrating on getting all my steps in that I slacked on everything else. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a new workout for a month, see how I like it, see what the results are, if I get any results, and then either add things to it or cancel that out and just do something new each month. So I think that's pretty much it. Just since Panda's got the job, I'm trying to figure out like what bills to pay off, what things need to be saved for. We got a few things that we need to work around the house that needs to get fixed up, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
How about
Catch
that?
up.
Well, we sure appreciate that, guys. Well, let's go ahead and jump into Grizzly's Anime and Arms.
It's over 9,000.
Okay, so I told you guys that I'm gonna look for a new shotgun, and this one, it's a little bit out of my price range, but this thing is awesome. Only problem is it doesn't have enough. Like you can't put a bunch of shells in here. You can only put 4, and it's primarily used for duck and turkey hunting, and that's really what I want to use it for. But it's called the Benelli Super Black Eagle 3. Sounds like something out of Call of Duty. But yeah, this is way out of my price range, with a price of $1,600 to $1,700.
Or one shotgun that only holds 4 shells?
4 shells, yes.
That's wild.
12 gauge is 26-inch barrel. It only holds 4 shells. It's 5.8 to 6.4 pounds. And what's cool about it is that in any weather, hot, cold, molten lava, this thing fires, apparently. So the barrel is frozen to a temperature of negative 300 degrees. And I think it goes up to like melting, whatever that is for steel. It goes up to there and they try to shoot it out of that stuff too.
Yeah, but like, okay, that's great that the gun can work, but I'm pretty sure human beings won't be alive to work those.
We're making this gun for the robots.
Yeah.
Negative 300 degrees?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we'll be frozen.
Yep.
Okay,
and I don't know why they do that. I was looking online to see if it's like, hey, is stress test or something. Yeah, I think it's like a stress test, but that's it. But it's like I didn't find nothing else. It's like, oh, you know. But I know that if you get it wet, it'll fire. If you anything, like it's great. Enhanced recoil management, enhanced functionality, ergonomics. It's oversized bolt release with a safety. It comes with 4 choke tubes. You know what a choke tube is, guys?
No.
All right, choke tubes is stuff you can put on the end of the shotgun to like the spread. Spread different.
Control the spread. Huh?
Yeah. So it's like if you don't want to have any, then it's like as soon as the pellets come out, it automatically starts spreading. But then you can choke that in a little bit to like the further it gets, then it'll like gradually get wider or smaller.
Would that be better for the duck and turkey hunting?
Yeah. It's like depends on where you're shooting from.
Okay.
So if it's like you're shooting from 50 yards or 75 yards, you just put these chokes on and it'll help you out. And it has a shim kit. And people who don't know what a shim kit is for a shotgun that you can put a thin or tapered piece of metal inserted between the stock and the receiver, which allows you to pretty much adjust how far the gun is whenever you're shooting it. So it's like if you have short arms, you can like take it out and like try to like stabilize your shoulder whenever you're shooting. Or if you have long arms, you can put this little shim in there, and you're like, just like people with long ass arms do, it's always uncomfortable whenever they're shooting stuff. But yeah, I was looking at this and I shot it, and I love it, dude. Like the only thing that I see is you have to assemble this when you get it brand new. And a lot of people have been getting especially if you pay this much money, you want it to work the same way every time, right? Some people has been getting this. They say they put it on correctly, and they always have a problem. either with the firing pin or whenever you cycle through rounds, something's always going on. But what they do is they take it back to the store and they always get a brand new gun and they have to take it out to get repaired. And then when it comes back, it's normally fine.
Okay.
So yeah. But yeah, that's the Benelli Super Black Eagle 3. And this thing looks that badass too.
We'll check that out on the Instagram page at We Real Reels on Instagram. We'll check that out. Sounds very dangerous and sounds like the Terminator will be using this to fight off some bad guys, hopefully. But let's go ahead and jump into Panda Tale.
Sit back and prepare yourself for Panda Tale.
What kind of creature is screaming on that?
You don't want to know. It's what the fox says.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's a cougar.
Well, this month in Panda Tales, it was really hard trying to find a true story that related to Dinner for Schmucks. You know, nobody really wants to admit they are
Assholes?
bringing, people to a party to make fun of them. But I was able to find a similar story, and I only have one. Like I said, it was kind of hard to find. And this story is called The Pretty One. Two girls from Virginia, Amber and Rachel, find themselves in a shopping mall when a guy approaches them, Tyler. Now, a little bit about Amber and Rachel. They're pretty much regular girls, but Rachel likes to dress up a lot. Do a lot of dress up, makeup, all kind of different kind of dress up. Not just like cosplay, dress up as the opposite sex, dress up as a bunch. She just likes dressing up. And it's not like a identity thing, just something she likes to do. Anyways, so Tyler approaches him and says, hey, you look pretty. You want to come to this party? He didn't really identify which one he was talking to. So after he leaves, the girls kind of argue over who is more beautiful. So they make a bet to see who can get hit on more. So the girls go home, they get dolled up, and they begin to put on their A game. And they go back to the mall. The next day is Saturday, the day of the party. And they're hoping to see Tyler again at the mall. So they go to the food court and they sit at separate tables. This way, there's a clear indication on who Tyler was talking to. And before you know it, Tyler comes back. Tyler comes in and he sees both women sitting and he approaches Amber, but then goes straight to Rachel and tells her where and when the party is. Well, later that night, Rachel's getting ready for the party and is bragging about how she got picked and not Amber. And Tyler arrives and takes Rachel to the party. And there's a lot of people there. Tyler says that he is going to get some drinks and he leaves Rachel to mingle with the guests. So Rachel starts talking to the other guests, and the first girl is, she's kind of not that good looking. She's got a unibrow and, a little bit disfigured, but she thinks nothing of it. Her name is Stephanie, and she says that she met her date today, and Rachel kind of gets a little weird about that. She's like, yeah, me too. I met Tyler today. And that's when another girl who has a speech impediment comes up and says, I met my date today too. And Rachel overhears two guys saying, oh man, this is the best pig party ever. Rachel says, a pig party? That's where guys find ugly women and make fun of them. She then looks around the room and realizes that the women here are all ugly. And she looks in a mirror and she thinks, including herself. So Rachel leaves the party and she returns home. She meets Amber and tells her that Tyler was a real jerk and that she realized that she had been a real jerk to Amber, and says that it's ridiculous to let others judge us based on how we look. And Rachel then says, what do you say I get changed and we go out to a party? And Amber forgives her, says everything's great, that's awesome, we are true friends, yeah, let's do it. So Rachel dresses up and she dresses like a guy and she brings Amber to that same pig party.
Oh my gosh.
That's it. That's the story. Yeah.
That's funny. I like it.
It's the only story I can find that kind of relates to Dinner for Schmucks. But let's get into our movie review. But before we do, we always like to enjoy our movie review with a nice adult beverage. And this month's adult beverage is E&J Brandy. It's a premium brandy that embodies the rich heritage of California's wine country. With a smooth, rich flavor profile and a hint of vanilla and oak, E&J Brandy is perfect for sipping neat, on the rocks, or a base of classic cocktails. Its warm golden hue and refined character make it a staple for any home or bar. A little history about the E&J brand. E&J Brandy has its roots in the 1930s. When brothers Ernest and Julio Gallo founded the E&J Gallo Winery in Modesto, California, the Gallo brothers were pioneers in the California wine industry, and their winery quickly gained a reputation for producing high-quality wines and brandies. In the 1970s, E&J was introduced as a premium brandy that would showcase the Gallo family's expertise in crafting fine spirits. Today, E&J brand remains a popular choice among brandy enthusiasts, and its reputation for quality and consistency has made it a staple in all bars and restaurants. Couldn't find any movies that E&J was in, but E&J brandy has been mentioned in several rap songs, particularly in the 1990s, but I couldn't find any specific information about its appearance in movies. However, its popularity and cultural relevance are evident in its mentions in music and its enduring presence in the brandy market. How about that, guys?
Hey.
How about that? So smooth.
Terrible.
Delicious.
Let's get into this.
I'm so sorry I'm late.
And I am Barry. Delightful.
I would love to go over some of these main points with you.
Where are you from?
We are from Switzerland. Barry, you know what? We're going to focus on business right
Switzerland. I speak a little of your language. Heard if he say do, tired if heard if heard boo.
Barry is not the guy you bring to dinner.
I love your cheese with the holes. Does the cheese come out of the cow with the holes?
Unless it's a dinner for schmucks.
I'd like to introduce my friend Louis and his wife Diane.
Your wife?
For now.
From the director of Meet the Parents.
Damn, I wish you could see this place. It's amazing. Oh my God! He's friends with Morgan Freeman.
This year,
I am receiving a message from the other side.
She's talking to the lobster.
Dinner for Schmucks.
Are you looking down my dress?
No. Please don't embarrass me. I'm not doing it. No.
All right. What a great trailer there. What a great trailer. This is Dinner for Schmucks. And as of February 2025, you can watch it on Max or buy it on physical or digital. It was directed by Jay Roach. Other movies he has done are Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
Hey.
Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Hey.
Meet the Parents.
Hey.
Austin Powers, Gold Member.
Hey.
Meet the Fockers.
Hey.
The Campaign.
Hey.
Trumbo.
Nice.
Bombshell.
Oh.
And The Roses.
Okay.
You ever seen any of those?
I don't think I've seen any of those.
You seen Austin Powers?
Yeah.
Groovy, baby.
Oh, yeah, that one.
This movie is starring Steve Carell, Paul Rudd, Zach Galifianakis, Stephanie Zostak, Lucy Punch, Jermaine Clement, Jeff Dunham, Bruce Greenwood, and Ron Livingston. This movie came out on July 30th, 2010. Other movies that came out in July of 2010 were The Last Airbender, Despicable Me, Predators, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, Inception,
Hey.
Ramona and Beezus,
Who?
Salt,
Oh, yeah.
and Cats and Dog, The Revenge of Kitty Galore.
Hey.
The last Airbender one was whack. I like the cartoon or the animated one, but the live action one, whack as hell.
Well, I'm going to do something different with this one, this podcast. I feel like we have a lot of detail, but it's not engaging enough. You know, so I am explaining every word of this movie, and that's cool, you know, for the people who like detail oriented, but I want it to be a little more engaging. You know, we got to get some more followers out, some more listeners out here, guys. So I'm not going to go into so much detail this time. I'm going to try to put out the important points, I hope, and then we'll go from there, and then you guys just point out whatever scenes and stuff that you guys like, and then you can also comment on our posts or send us an email, let us know what you think, or comment on our YouTube channels. Let us guys know how we did, and if you think we could do better, or if we're doing great. Just let us know, guys, okay? So this one won't be as detailed as the normal ones, but let's try it. Let's see what happens. The plot is, rising executive Tim Conrad works for a boss who hosts a monthly dinner in which the guest who brings the biggest buffoon gets a career boost. Tim plans on not attending until he meets Barry, a man who builds dioramas using stuffed mice. Barry's blundering but good intentions send Tim's life into a downward spiral, threatening a major business deal and possibly sculling Tim's engagement to his fiancée.
His fiance.
So let's get into it. The opening scene is somebody taking taxidermied mice and making different scenes out of them, which actually looks pretty good. I mean, there's so much detail in the work. It seems to be the same two characters of mice going on picnics, looking over bridges, going to amusement parks.
I'm curious on how he even started dabbling in this hobby. I mean, like, so obviously he's setting it up, but I'm wondering if he's hand making these clothes too, because like it's tiny mice. Is he getting doll clothes? Is he buying them? Like, I don't know. It's interesting. It's very weird, but very interesting. I want to know more information on just how he got started on this.
This is another instance of you wanting to know some useful stuff.
I think he said something early, in the movie where he was like, rats are like genetically like real close to humans or something like that.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Talking about their backs.
And I think that's why he's doing it.
Well, then we see three people talking about one guy who has gotten fired. They're in an office building looking down at the parking lot as he's leaving. And because he tried too hard is what they said. He made it up to the 7th floor. And I guess, you know, he had a bad pitch or a bad idea that didn't fall through, and now he's gone.
No.
Oh.
He got fired for trying to steal a stapler.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
Yeah. He said he got fired for trying to steal a stapler, and they let him keep the stapler.
Oh, I didn't catch that part. But I do know if I was the guy fired, I would not take the time to open the trunk to put the box in, because he was struggling to get the trunk open, and then he opened the back seat to put his jacket in. So I would have just put it in the back seat and just been done with it.
Well, there you go. One guy's wondering who's going to get his office. And then we're introduced to Tim, who is Paul Rudd. And he says, Jesus, he just got fired. You know, have some little respect. And he turns to his assistant and says, I need to get that office. And she tries to motivate him to get up there. And he goes upstairs to go into a business meeting with his other coworkers. And the boss man tells them that Jason got fired. And he wants 10 new ideas on his desk by Monday or something. But Tim raises his head immediately. And he's like, oh, okay, you got something to say? And he says, yeah, I have an idea. And so they hear him out. He pitches this idea about this bomb that he puts on a table that he's going to turn into lamps. And he's like, who likes that? And he says that Mueller likes this. And Mueller is like this super wealthy, what is he? How does he make money? He's super.
I thought he was just born into it.
Heir or something, some kind of royalty or something.
Yeah, that's what I kind of took it from.
Yeah, well, Tim has laid out this whole plan. He's already talked to Mueller. He's setting up meetings with him, and they're going to lose money on the bomb idea. But if they can get Mueller as a client, they're going to make so much money.
Said millions or billions of dollars.
Yeah.
He's got tons of money.
Yeah, and so Tim's like, all right. The boss says, all right, well, so-and-so, you take lead on this one. But Tim's like, whoa, I wanted to take lead. And he's like, nah, I don't think so. And they all leave.
Which you can already tell, like, the 6th floor people, most of them are just in, like, long sleeve button-up shirt. There's a couple that had, like, jackets on. But then the 7th floors, they definitely got more money because they dress fancier.
Designer suits.
Yeah, but they definitely already showing they're being assholes. They got asshole vibe all over that floor.
Well, as Tim's leaving the meeting with the bombs, the boss calls him over. And he says, come to my office. So Tim goes to the office, and they discuss him moving up to the 7th floor. But they want to invite him to this dinner first. And they tell him that they bring interesting people, remarkable people really, to this dinner. And they call it the Dinner of Winners. And he shows him a picture of the guy he invited last year. And it was some guy who made this like indestructible armor suit.
He said it was a homemade Iron Man suit.
Yeah. And Tim looks at it and he's like, he's an idiot. And so he discovers that they invite idiots to this dinner and they make fun of him. And Tim says, "What? That's messed up." And they tell him, "No mimes. Jacobson brought a mime. And you see any of his shit out here?"
Isn't that how he got fired? That guy?
Yeah, that was Jacobson.
Also, I don't know. Maybe I got a different definition of an idiot, but I don't know. Making a homemade Iron Man suit, like, to me, that's a fucking genius, ain't it? Like,
is that the guy that? I mean, he said it was a homemade Iron Man suit.
Bear suit.
Yeah, it was a bear suit, right?
Yeah, but this dude's actually testing it with, like, I don't know. He may have been an engineer, actually. But just the thought of him out there letting logs hit him and shit it's just retarded.
Well, I mean, like, if he does it, if he has the genius and the engineering capability of creating it, like, I don't know, to me that's impressive because there's no way in hell that I would ever be able to do it. I mean, it's a weird ass hobby, but I mean, hell, look at Tony Stark. He created an Iron Man suit and he's fucking famous.
He's
so
also not real.
well, I mean, it's
also, he didn't let a log hit him from the tree swinging down.
I don't know what he was doing with testing.
And then later that night, Tim goes to this art gallery and he meets up with his girlfriend and she tells him that I sold every painting. But she ends up calling a guy's name who's is pronounced Dosh, but she called him Douche. But she did a great job at the art gallery and she got the client. Well, what I'm wondering, whether I'm being
what are you trying to say here, bro?
Yeah, Tim says she's doing a great job, and he proposes to her. And apparently, he's proposed to her before, 2 days ago, actually.
God dang.
And she says she just needs a little more time. So they go inside the art gallery, and they meet this crazy dude.
Well, pause on that. Hold on. So I feel like they both got a pretty good attitude. He has a good attitude because he keeps asking and he's not getting discouraged. She has a good attitude because she's saying, hey, I need a little bit more time. But like, they're still, as a couple, for you guys, if you propose to somebody and they're like, either I need more time or whatever excuse, would you, if it was anything beyond yes, would you guys still be in a relationship with that person and like act like nothing's wrong?
I mean, that'll throw my relationship into question. It's like,
yeah,
it depends on how long we've been together, I guess.
Yeah, you thought you was on the same level and apparently you weren't. I guess it depends on the answer and how the relationship is. Because if she's just a bore, then I'd be like, oh, wait, I need to snap out of this. She might have just saved my life, man. I'm going to go do something else. Or if she would have just been like, no, then I'd be like, oh,
well I mean,
this ain't
that's
going
different.
nowhere.
Well, I mean, it would be the same as this. I think they've been in a relationship for 3 years. Artsy.
You kidding me? Yeah, I'm sticking around.
Okay.
Anyways, we meet this crazy dude with these crazy pieces of weird art.
Weird.
All over the place. I mean, he's a bull. He's talking about something that was bullshit, so he actually rubbed bull excrement on a piece of his art as a metaphor. We meet Kyrian.
I think I kept saying Killian.
Who calls Tim Stockbroker Tim. And Tim's like, no, that's not what I do. Well, it's something like stockbroking. And he says, no, it's nothing like that. And he's like, well, let me just call you that. That's how I remember people. You're Stockbroker Tim.
Start getting people nicknames like that.
Man, he goes over to this zebra work of art, and he tells Tim that he had to help hand deliver this baby. After 22 hours of labor, he just said, I'm going in. And he stuck his arm in a zebra's vagina to pull out the baby. And he asks him, they go to another painting and they says, what does this make you think of? And the painting has like a serpent as his penis. And Tim's like, well, it makes me think of your penis. And he says, then you get it. Julie gets it.
Gets it. Okay, Julie gets it. Does she get his penis? Or does she just get the painting? Because I'm like,
I think she gets the painting. But
he definitely implied that she, like, definitely in question if she got the penis or not.
Well, later on, at dinner with just Julian, or was it Julian and Kyrian? No, it was just Julian.
Who's Julian? Are you talking about Julie?
I mean, Kyrian. I'm missing Julian and Kyrian together. It's Julian. Yeah. It's just Julie and Tim at the dinner, and he tells her about him potentially getting a promotion, but he has to go to some dinner Saturday and bring some special person to the dinner to make fun of him.
Mm-hmm. And then Julie thinks that it's for her, and he's like, nah, I gotta bring winners.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean winners? He's like, man, he actually told her what he was supposed to tell her. He told her everything.
Yeah.
It's dinner for idiots, and she don't like that shit.
Yeah, she
said it's terrible. And she's like, I know you're not going, right? And he's like, yeah, of course not.
I don't know. If I was Tim, I would not. Once I've been told about this dinner, I'm sorry. Like, if my job's on the line, because if I can't find an idiot, like, I don't agree with the whole dinner for idiots anyways. But also, if my job's on the line because I didn't get an idiot, nah, I would already be looking for another job.
Shit, that's a big old paycheck to do something I already do for fun anyway. You sit there and burn on people. Hey, you want to go to dinner, bro? Come on, man.
So the next day, he's calling his assistant, telling her that he can't go to the dinner. But she's like, no, you got to go to this dinner. And Tim's trying to convince her to just tell the boss, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. He's texting, he's on the phone, he's driving, and he's doing so much stuff. And he ends up hitting someone with his car.
He's checking his Palm Pilot.
Yeah, man, he just messes him up. He's got a nice Porsche. He gets out to check on the person, and they just kind of like kip up.
He just immediately jumps up. How in the hell do you get hit by a car and just...
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I've been hit by a Datsun before, but never a Porsche. And his name is Barry Speck. He introduces himself. And Tim asks, what were you doing in the street? And he says, trying to save this little guy. And he has a dead mouse in his hand.
I don't think I've ever seen or found a dead mouse in a street or a road before.
Oh,
I feel like that, like if it got hit, if it got hit by a car, like that thing would have been squished. Like, I don't know. I've never seen a dead creature beyond like driving, like possums and stuff like that. But a mouse, no.
Well,
now what did you think I was? What did you think I was going to say?
I've never seen a dead mouse up close. I was like, hey, I stomped one in the face, bro.
Well, Barry takes a picture of the mouse and then Tim and says, Tim says, I hope these aren't for your lawyer. And Barry says, no, I don't want to get the lawyers involved. And Tim says, okay, I understand. How much will it take? And Barry says, $5. And Tim says, what do you mean? And Barry's like, all right, $100. 500, 1,000, and then Barry goes $10,000, and Tim says, "Oh, okay, I'll take 10,000." And then Barry's like, "I don't have $10,000." And Barry's like, "You know what? As long as you're okay, just don't worry about it. Okay, you're good. Everything's good." So Tim picks up a portfolio book and he sees a bunch of pictures in it. And Barry says, "Oh, that's my masterpieces." And Tim's like, "Masterpiece? No." And then he opens it up and it's a picture of like famous art, but they've been replaced with mice.
And they look pretty good, bro.
They are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Barry's like, you want to see what I've been working on? And he grabs a box that he was holding when he was hit, and he shows Tim, and it's the Last Supper, but it's all full of mice. And they're all doing this in the middle of the road, so there's like traffic backing up.
If I was behind this damn car,
you'd be laying on the horn.
Man. And then Barry's like, I'm giving the mice a second chance. He says, and he says, in the words of John Lennon, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not. And Tim says, no, the lyrics are, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And Bear's like, yep, okay. So he don't believe him, I guess.
But he said he's going to show the taxidermist his work. My thing is the taxidermist actually interested in any of this?
It might be. He's a taxidermist.
Couple extra syllables on taxidermist.
Yeah, he's taxidermist.
Wait, what did I say?
You said taxidermist.
Oh.
Taxidermist.
Oh. Did I say it both times?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Creating something new there. Well, Tim says, I think everything happens for a reason. And he invites Barry to dinner. And he said, what? Did you make that up? And Tim's like, yeah, everything happens for a reason. Wow. So he accepts the dinner invite. And the next day, he's telling his secretary that it just fell right into his lap. And that's when he meets Mueller, who ends up making a connection with Mueller and setting up a double date with him. And the boss man says this is perfect.
I don't think it's the next day. I think it's still the same day. I think he was on the way to work when that happened, because the reason why it got confused is because Barry thought dinner was tonight and not tomorrow. So I think it's still the same day.
I guess I'm confused too. Well, yeah, I'm making a connection. And the boss says it's perfect because he was going to send the other guy who took the lead on the last meeting. But he's like, no. Tim's going to this one because Tim is the only one who isn't divorced and who isn't dating a hooker. And the guy's like,
I'm not dating a hooker. It was like,
his coworker was like, yeah, she offered me a blowjob. And he's like, well, if she didn't ask for money, then it's not a hooker. He said, yeah, she did ask for money.
He said like $5 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
My God bless.
Wasn't that much? Well, Tim gets home and he tells Julie about the art collector and the double date that they need to be on. And she reaches in his back pocket to find a Jesus mouse.
My thing is, I would not be carrying this dead mouse. It doesn't matter if it's like a fake mouse or a dead mouse. I would not be carrying this thing in my back pocket all day long.
Well, Tim tells her about Barry, who makes the mice, and she asks him, "Are you doing the dinner?" And he says, No. And she doesn't believe him. He tries to explain how important the dinner is, but she says that the you that I know would have said no. And he says, well, the me that you don't know said yes. And they kind of have this argument about she should know all of him. And it's really bad to go to dinner to make fun of people. And she ends up walking out on him. And she gets into the elevator where he says he'll never see that guy again in his life. And the elevator's closing on his face. And he's like, I feel like I'm in The Shining. And as he looks out, the other elevator opens. And it's Barry. So he sees him again.
How did Barry get his address is what the hell I'm saying.
I don't know. But also, another hindsight that I have is I'm with Julie. I would not date somebody who would go to this dinner to get a promotion through a job. Like, I'm not going to bow to date an asshole.
Hey, look, I'm going to say this. Is that you married somebody that might do that. I'm telling you, because if it's like a substantial raise, oh yeah, I'm doing that, bro.
You about to see a fucking circus at my house. I already know a circus full of people.
Hey, exactly.
That's true.
Just call one of your friends.
Hey, what's weird guy? No. Listen, I don't even making fun of them, okay? I have true friendship with these people. But anyway, Barry pulls Tim out of the elevator and they fall and ends up hurting Tim's back. And he says, my back. And Barry says, is it your back? And so they end up moving Tim to the couch in his apartment where Barry says that he's ready for the dinner. But Tim says, it's not tonight, it's tomorrow. And Barry argues with him and says, it's tonight. But Tim's like, no, it's not tonight. Tim says he wants Barry to leave because he got in a fight with his girlfriend and he wants to be here alone when she comes back. He says, what if she doesn't come back? Barry, I think I know if she'll come back. And then Barry says, well, I think I know what'll make you feel better. Yeah, he said, remember the mouse from the street. Not the guy, yeah. The mouse from the street. And then he pulls out the mouse that he dressed up just like Tim.
Hey.
So Barry helps Tim get up and get closer to his bedroom so he can get his back brace. But Tim ends up falling and he has to crawl into his room. So Barry hears a little notification and goes to Tim's computer and sees a little check message board going on there. And he responds.
Who goes? Like, this is a stranger's house.
Bro,
Who goes to other people's computers and just looks at their computer screen and then starts responding? Like, that's weird. Yeah. That's weird.
Who makes art out of dead mice?
Yeah. I don't know. So, also, before we get to it, is this a mental capacity that he has for Barry? Does he have something? Is he just...
I think he's super excited to potentially have a friend, so he's just trying to look out for him.
Well, I mean, as like... for him in general, for Barry, not for whatever he's doing now, like for how he is and how he acts and how he talks. Is it a mental capacity? Like, is he not as smart as everybody else, or does he have a mental disability that's...
I think
on the spectrum.
Yeah, I think it's stress. It could be stress. I don't know, because apparently he was normal before whatever happens later.
Oh, okay.
Might have made him snap.
Yeah, it made him snap. But it's like, I mean, he seems like the type of person that don't have a lot of people in his life anyway. So,
because even beyond the mice thing, even his responses and just his just how he's handling communication and not understanding the subtle hints of getting the hell out of the apartment is like it's not clicking with him. So I'm like, what is going on?
Well, Barry gets on the little message board there with the little emoji faces, like some lipstick kiss. And he starts responding with these goofy responses that I guess are genuine to him, but they're kind of like hot and heating up.
Yeah. Is Timmy lonely?
Lady.
Timmy is lonely.
I'm alone or something like that.
He sent the ass picture and I was like, you want to see me or something like that? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and he printed out that little booty pic. Just a booty and some underwear. Well, Tim comes in and see what Barry's been doing, and he tells him that it's a stalker that he slept with before Julie, and she's been stalking him for like 3 years.
I'm curious as if he's told Julie about this.
You gave her my address? Yeah, he got the address. And he tells Barry to leave and come tomorrow to the dinner. That's it. That's all I need. And Barry says, I'll make it up to you. So he goes down to the lobby with a picture of the butt in panties and starts looking at every woman that goes into there. And we actually see Julie come back, and he sees Julie come back, and he puts the butt up and he's like, yep, that's her. So he runs upstairs real quick to interrupt Julie from getting into the house before she gets in there to see Tim. And he tells her that, we don't need you coming in there no more. You are not welcome in here. And she already understands who he is. She's like, you're the friend. Well, let me give you some advice. Don't go to that dinner. That Tim told me a lot about you. And
he kept calling her Darla. Darla.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to let you in his house.
Yeah. Because that's when she asked who Darla was. And that's when Barry's like, you the stalker or something. Like, he explained it. And
Tim told me about the sex.
Yeah.
The sex.
Yeah.
Sex.
Well, if I was Julie, I would not believe. Like, she already knows that Tim literally just met this guy. She already knows that he's a little off. So, like, I would have gone into the apartment and be like, hey, what's going on?
But
like,
wait,
she left.
With the argument of, there's a Tim you know and a Tim you don't know. She don't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
You
so
know?
that's why, like, don't make just assumptions, get mad and walk away. Like, she should have went inside and
she said, you could tell Tim, he can kiss my ass. And he says, we don't have to. We have pictures. And so Barry goes into there with Tim and tells him that he got rid of Darla. You don't have to worry about seeing her anymore. And he finds a picture of Kieran and started to ask about him and what's going on with this dude. He's got an animal magnetism. And he's like, he simulates some weird art. And Julie has to work with him for selling his art. And he's like, what? Does she work with him in his bed? He's like, no. So Barry just starts putting all these bad thoughts into Tim's head.
It's like, okay, number one, why would you listen to that type of stuff, especially if you've been with this girl for how many years you've been with her? Oh, man. And this random dude just coming in is like, okay, well, he's probably sleeping with her. If it was me, that's what I would do. But the funny thing was is that he looked at a picture and was like, hey, how'd you get a picture of Darla on the picture?
No, not yet. He tries to call Kieran. And he's like, what's his number? We'll call him, see if she's over there. He's like, all right, 111. He's like, hold on. 111. 1111. He's like, okay. He tried calling it. He says, he must change the number. Nobody picked up. So he looked through the call history on the phone and finds it. And he actually calls Kieran. And he says, I'm going to use an accent. Hello, I'm Nigel.
He kind of sounded like a little bit like Gru.
He is Gru.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he sounded as Nigel. He sounded like Gru from Despicable Me.
Well, don't be surprised.
Similar accents.
He tells Kieran that he is some documentary guy and wants to make a documentary on Kieran's life. And we hear girls laughing in the background. And Tim's like, that's Judy's laugh. So we got to go over there.
I just feel like anything to do with Barry around and him handling it, like, his insecurities, Tim's insecurities with the situation definitely went overboard. And it's just like, just leave it be. Like, once Barry's involved, just stop.
Well,
just wait.
They arrive at Kieran's place, which is like a little penthouse suite at the top of this building, maybe 3-4 stories up. And Barry says, we need to get her attention.
Which this scene, didn't Tim allow Barry to drive his Porsche?
Yeah.
What the hell? No, don't ever allow somebody else that you don't know.
He don't even know how to drive a stick shift. He's just fucking up the clutch. You don't know, hey, bro.
No, it's not smart.
But he fucking up that Porsche, man. He opened that door right into the
Yes, he did.
And Tim just looks like a...
God damn.
Oh, well.
That's not even the worst part. Let's get the attention. And the first thing he has in his hands is keys. It's like, okay, I'm going to throw these keys, hit the window. Motherfuckers go straight in the fucking...
Who the fuck is going to throw the keys?
Dude, he don't say shit. He's like, were those my keys? Yep.
So they climb the fire escape to get up there and find his keys. And Barry goes into the apartment from the window, starts looking for the keys. He gets on his phone and calls Tim's cell phone and says, "Hey, I'm in the apartment." And Tim's at the window. He's like, "Yeah, I know. Get out of the apartment. Get my keys." So he ends up getting sidetracked because he's amazed by this apartment. And he sees a picture of Kieran meeting Nelson Mandela. And he's like, "Oh my God, he's friends with Morgan Freeman." It's fucked up. But that's when Kieran comes out and Barry just gets on the ground and gets in like fetal position mode and hides. And Kieran doesn't see him. And yeah, this is just so awkward. But he goes over, starts beating on a drum, doing some weird stuff. And
doing his little facial expression stuff in the mirror.
Yes, so weird. Tim accidentally knocks over a flower pot, almost gets caught, but the ladies call Kieran back to the room, so he goes, and Barry follows. And he's like, "What am I looking at?"
Wait, you missed the part where the cat ended up getting Tim's mouse, God. And he's not even concerned about the damn keys. He's going after the cat, and like they get a hissing argument.
He tried to speak cat to him.
Yes, just to get this.
Meet him.
And then that's when he follows Kieran back, and then that's when he's like, "I'm having trouble describing what I'm looking at."
Yep, and it was Kieran doing a bunch of weird stuff in this room, taking pictures with these two women.
It's kind of like a rainforesty.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was something. But that's when Tim comes in because he thinks Julie's in there, and he goes in there, and they're like, Kieran not as surprised or offended that he's there. He's just like, "Oh, that's stockbroker Tim."
He didn't even ask how he got in the apartment.
Yeah.
He's just going with it.
He is with it.
He's just, I don't know.
Yep, and he's asking if Julie's here, and he's like, "Oh, Julie has left you." So bad. And he asks if he's seen her, and he says no. But Barry goes deeper in. Oh, I know. I'm thinking I'll step back a little bit. Yeah, the two women, the craziness, and Kieran's crazy ass.
Well, it got to the part where Kieran said something that he, like, the people that he works with, he has sex with. So I think that kind of
his process.
Yes, I think that like that added into Tim's insecurities, but they ended up leaving.
Yeah, and before he left, Kieran was like, "If I'm going to go have just sex with these two women, if you would like to join, that's cool. If not, if you're not into that, that's okay too. Thank you for visiting. Good to meet you, Barry."
I wonder if they got the keys and then either went out his front door or did they go back through the window and down the fire escape?
Well, they ended up going to Tim's apartment, and when Tim's about to go to the living room, Barry grabs his shoulders and puts a knee in his back, and it fixes Tim back. That's when he's like, "Yeah, mice and humans vertebrates are very similar."
Vertebrae.
Yeah, been aching this whole time, and he finally decides to help him. Well, Tim says thank you, and he says, "Get out. Dinner's tomorrow." Before Barry leaves, he says, "Oh, that's interesting. You say you're over Darla, but you have a picture of her in your apartment." And Tim says, "That's Julie." And Barry says, "Oh." And Tim says, "Is that the woman you saw in the hallway?" Barry says, "Well, she has the same face." And then the doorbell rings, and it's the actual Darla.
Holy cow.
And Darla says, "Julie left you, and I'm going to leave you someday." And she wants to know who Barry is. And she says, "Do you want to see me screw the brains out of Barry?" And Tim says, "No, I want you to leave." And then Tim gets a call, and it's from Julie. And she's asking who Darla is and talking about everything that Barry had told her about the sex and all that crap. And Tim's trying to explain it to her, but Darla ends up taking the phone and putting it in her pants.
Yeah, front butt.
Yeah, and he still gets on his knees, keeps trying to explain to Julie that he's not cheating on her. And she ends up hanging up on Julie and is like, "Oops, I think I hung up." And she tries to get on top of him, try to get all over him. But he ends up locking himself in his bedroom to stay away from her. And he's like, Darla's like, "Hey, you want to drive Tim crazy?" And Barry's like, "Yeah." But it's not really working because she's trying all this sexy stuff, and Barry's just sitting there with his hands to himself like, "I'm a dirty schoolgirl." And Barry's like, "Wow, you're kind of old for a schoolgirl." And so they end up doing this weird stuff of spanking themselves. And Barry's like, I'm going to be an animal. You're going to come chase me. I'm a penguin. You know, penguins move very slow, except for I'm Turbo Penguin. And they start chasing each other around the house. And she trips over this chair, hits her shin. And she's like, "Argh." And so she comes around this corner and he throws a blanket in her face. She trips over this railing, busts her lip. And she gets pissed. And she's like, oh, you're going to get it. So she starts throwing champagne or wine bottles through the house, busting them and breaking stuff. And she gets to one wine bottle left. She's about to hit Barry in the head with it, but he just passes out.
Oh, no. You got the one where he needs to be a damn MLB catcher because this motherfucker just caught the bottle out of midair.
And he throws it back. But she yells out to Tim, call her later, because this was fun. And she loves him forever. And so Tim opens the door finally and sees that Barry's passed out. Darla has left. And then Barry wakes up and says that playing dead always works. He says people don't want to punch something that's dead. It's instinctual. Well, Tim gets Julie's phone and sees that Kieran has called and left a voice message. And Kieran says that, come on out to the ranch. It's going to be really good for you. So he tells Barry to leave because he's not helping. He doesn't know where the ranch is. So he just didn't have any help right now. He didn't know what to do, what the next steps were. And that's when Barry tells him, hey,
I work for the IRS.
Yeah, we can find out through his tax returns where the ranch is, if you're up for it.
So, with the whole playing dead thing, how many times has Barry been attacked and tried this whole playing dead thing? Is this something that he's seen?
Enough for that shit to work.
Mm-hmm. And Barry says that, we can check that on his tax returns, but if he's sleeping with Julie, that's not business related. He can't deduct that. So they go to the IRS center and they want
in the middle of the night. Like it's close time. Like it's already done.
That's what he's like, are you sure somebody's going to be here? And he's like,
yeah.
No, he's always up. He's always awake.
Yep. And they go see Barry's boss and he tells Tim not to look him in the eyes and keep your mind blank.
Another weird guy.
And this is when we're introduced to Zach Galifianakis' character, Thurman. They end up asking Thurman for help, but instead he looks up Tim's tax return and tells him that people lie to him all the time. And this is how I learned mind control. They tell him that they're looking for Tim's girlfriend who has ran off, and Thurman is saying everything that they're saying, but as if he's making them say it or like he's reading their minds. So he does this demonstration by looking at Barry in his eyes, and for some reason, Barry's like he can't move. He's paralyzed, and while he's paralyzed, he can still move his mouth a little bit. And he's like, Tim, help me, Tim, help me. And Tim's like, you can move, just move. And that's when Thurman says, I release you, and Barry can really move now.
Yeah.
So that he has some kind of mind control, man. But Tim's like, okay, I just need an address. Can you help me, Thurman? And he says, yeah. For a price. I just want to hear Barry say, you can eat my pudding. And Barry shakes his head no. And Tim says, all right, I'll give you $1,000 if you say it, Barry. And that's when Thurman's like, oh, you're a high roller. Let me take a look here. And he looks into his tax return and says, you can't declare offshore investments losses for future capital gains. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. And Thurman starts this weird maniacal laugh.
He gets beat red. Oh my gosh.
And then he finally calms down and he gives Tim this little card and says, call the 1-800 number. You're being audited. I release you.
But Tim said, well, I got to talk to my accountant about that. So it's like, he's not even the one that's doing his taxes. Anyways, he's paying somebody who's supposed to know this information.
Well, they're walked out by security. And they get to the car, and Barry says, well, you have to remember what the wise man once said. Everything happens for a reason.
You know who said that? You did.
Tim says, shut up, Barry. And as they get into the car, they look back, and Barry says, oh, my God, it's Martha. It's my ex-wife. And she gets out of the car all giggling and happy to see Thurman, and she calls him my magic man. And
How the hell did Barry get married, first of all?
And Thurman calls her Pudding. He says, get in the car, Pudding. And he glares at Barry while he gets in the car.
Well, Martha opens the door for Thurman to get him in the car, and then she goes around and starts walking.
Well, Barry tells him he used to call her Pudding. Tim says, why don't we just go home? Get some sleep, and I'll see you tomorrow for dinner. And Barry says, I think I left my bus pass at your apartment. Tim says, I'll drive you home. It's fine. He says, oh, I left my keys at your apartment too.
I'm sorry. I would have gone to my house, gone his bus pass, gone his keys, and been like, bye. Either take him to the bus stop or physically drive him home after he gotten all his stuff.
I'll take his ass to a damn farm and drop him off.
Well, he said, I can stay here tonight. I'll just get those rolling chairs, put them together. Well, they do kind of slink down in the middles, you know. And Tim's like, you know what? That's fine. You can stay with me tonight.
Tim's definitely feeling bad for him, especially after seeing Martha and things like that.
Yeah. So they get back to the house, and Barry finds the engagement ring in Tim's pockets that he was going to give Julie before they go to bed. Barry says that the first night alone is always the hardest. I can sleep in there with you if you want. And Tim says, no, thanks. And he starts running through all the thoughts that Barry doesn't want to think about. And Barry puts on aftershave right before he goes to bed. And Tim's like, what? Why are you doing that? He says it's a force of habit. When I was married, I stayed up late to work on my mice, and Martha hated the smell of formaldehyde.
Oh, so he wasn't a thing for after he got divorced. He was doing it beforehand. Yeah,
damn,
so he was already doing.
Well, Tim says you can smell them both. It's 2 layers of bad smell. And Barry says that's exactly what Martha used to say. And Tim says goodnight. Only to be woken up later on with Barry in his bed saying, Damn, I can't sleep. I'm too excited about the dinner. What should I wear? A tux? It's always better to be overdressed than underdressed. So Tim sets Barry up in the living room with a movie, some headphones, some snacks, so that Tim can get some sleep. But Tim wakes up about 5 in the morning and sees Barry asleep, and he sees the portfolio of pictures. And it kind of tells the life of Martha and Barry's life together and what happened.
And that's how we figured out at the beginning of the movie what the
little tiny mice.
The little tiny mice was doing.
Yeah. It was Barry and Martha, and she had cheated on him, and yeah.
Is that the part where? No, that's not the part. Go on.
Yeah. Well, one of them in the pictures, how Barry found out, I guess he was going to surprise her. He was hiding under the bed and going to surprise her.
That part.
And Thurman, or at least a mouse dressed like Thurman, was in the bed, and yeah, I guess he just stayed up under there. I don't know. Terrible. The next morning, Tim tells Barry, don't mess with the stove, don't play with electricity, don't do nothing. So he gives him a bowl of cereal and tells him, do not leave this chair.
Isn't that part where Barry's like, what, you treat me like I'm a child or something? He says something along those lines.
Yeah, you'll kill yourself, man, if you don't,
Barry's like,
pay attention.
sometimes I think you think I'm retarded. And he says, I think I can help. And Tim's like, you want to help? Stay in the chair. And so Tim grabs a phone, heads out the door, goes to dinner with Mueller and his wife. After he does, the phone starts ringing, and Barry answers it, and it's Tim's assistant, Susanna, who is drinking, and she's telling Barry where to go, what time, and she says, make sure Julie's there. And Barry says, okay, she'll be there. And Barry starts calling for Tim, but he's not there. Like yelling for him. So he takes the chair and goes out to the hallway and can't find him. So Tim makes it to the dinner or lunch, and Mueller and his wife are there, and he's going to start his pitch, just to get this thing rolling. And Barry has his cell phone. So Barry's using his cell phone to call Tim on Barry's cell phone, but Barry's not answering, so he's leaving voice messages, which is password guarded. So he's telling Tim the password on the voice message that he can't get into, and he's like, oh, you can't get this one. I'll call you again. And he tries to call again. He says, hey, no, you can't get that last one because you can't get this one either. And he finally realizes, that he's fucked. So his great idea is to help out.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he is going to help out. So he calls somebody. He ends up calling the restaurant, and while Tim is making a successful pitch, the Muellers are liking him, they're loving him, he knows poetry, he has culture, they're impressed by him. He gets this call, and it's
Pina Colada song.
It's Barry.
But so when he answered it, it said 45 missed calls, but now he's getting a ringtone.
he got the 45 missed calls from the ringtone. That's when he checked it. But then he got a call from the restaurant, and they brought the phone to him, and it was Barry, who was walking in, and he's like, "Hello," and as he walks up, he's right there. Why'd you call the restaurant? I don't know, but he walks up with Darla next to him. Yeah, buddy. And Barry says, "My name is Tim's brother, Barry, and this is Julie." So now Mueller and his wife think that Darla is actually Julie.
Which, didn't he make an excuse for why Julie's not there? Said something she's either
like
sick or
broken leg
work
or
or something. Yeah.
But Barry asks, "Where are you from?" And Barry just goes into this messed up thing, just embarrassing himself. Embarrassing.
It's just so
Tim.
awkward and uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It is crazy. But the wife asks, "Do we see wedding bells in your future?" And Barry says, "Oh, that's a sore topic," because he keeps asking, but she keeps saying no. And Darla says, "Well, ask me again."
Oh, damn.
And so Barry shows the ring that Tim said he didn't have, and he puts him in a situation where he is forced to just confront this problem and ask her to marry him.
Yeah, because he's sitting there like, nah, it's not the right time. No, it's not the right mood. Oh, my God.
So Tim plays along and asks her. She says yes, and everyone starts clapping with him, and that's when the real Julie shows up.
Well, Darla was making out or trying to make out with Tim, and he's kind of like trying to not do it, but that's when Julie walked in.
And Julie says that Susan said that you would lose the promotion if she didn't show up, so she showed up for him. But she sees that you already had a replacement the whole time. And Tim tries to explain that this is a misunderstanding, and Barry explains that he didn't know if Julie was going to come, so he brought Darla to, keep things going smoothly. And Darla says, "Julie, you're embarrassing yourself. This is over." And Julie says, "Yeah, you got quite the catch here. You're very crafty." And she leaves, and Tim tries to stop her. And he explains that he knows that, you went to the ranch and nothing happened. And she says, "No, I didn't go to the ranch, but I'm going now because he wants me to be a part of his artistic process."
We all know what his process
we know what that process is.
Yeah, which Tim knows that means sex. And she leaves, and then Barry shows up in the Porsche, and he's like, "Get out." And so Barry gets in the passenger seat, Tim gets in the driver's seat, and they're about to leave, but the back windows burst out, and it's Darla destroying the Porsche.
She's all like disheveled, whatever. Yeah, she's all looking.
She got embarrassed.
I don't know if y'all noticed this, but it's like as soon as the windows busted out, Barry played dead.
Bro, he could have just pulled off.
Yeah.
Yes, that is literally my hindsight. Is after that happened, I would have left. Well, also, I would have called the cops too. I would have been done call the cops on her if she's been stalking 3 years ago, and I would have already told Julie about it.
Well, after Darla's done with the car, she tells him he's not very nice, and she's keeping the ring.
Shit, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And
How did the cops not get called?
And Barry says, "I can't help but think this is partially my fault." And Tim says, "This is 100% your fault." And Barry gets on the phone and says, "Hello, Thurman. You win. You can eat my pudding." And gives Tim an address for the ranch. So they head that way. And when they get to the ranch, we see that Julie is venting to Kieran about everything that's going on with Tim. And he's like, "Whoa, I want to photograph you." And she's like, "I don't think this is a good time." He says, "It's the perfect time. Your raw emotion.
Never seen this side of you.
That you're feeling is beautiful."
He puts this, I don't know, quick outfit on.
A goat man outfit.
Fucking dope man.
No, I'm talking about he put something on her, that white dress,
Just
and
put some
tied
over
it
it,
up
yeah.
and then starts taking pictures. And then that's when he goes behind the scenes and puts a goat outfit on, and then he goes behind her just...
Was it bothering y'all that his horns was on wrong?
this whole thing.
He had to get dressed pretty fast, so I understand.
Damn it.
But the camera set on automatic. It's just snapping pictures away while she's explaining about Tim, and he's behind her making all these weird faces and moves. And that's when Tim shows up to find out what the hell's going on. And he says, "Julie, there's something I need to tell you. You might have done." She says, "Something I need to tell you." And that's when Barry comes in and says, "Kieran has gonorrhea." And he says, "No, I don't." And he says, "Oh, Julie has gonorrhea." And Tim says, No, she doesn't. No one in this room has gonorrhea." And Barry says,
I do.
I have gonorrhea. He says, I got it from my wife who got it from my bus seat.
The moments where you're supposed to be so mad and upset about Barry and what he is doing and what he is causing, and then he does something or says something to just make you feel terrible for him.
Yep. And so Tim walks away with Julie, and Kieran is talking with Barry outside about his experience of being with goats for 5 months and acting like a goat. And he says, if a goat wants it, they take it. I'm a goat. Goats will eat anything. And Barry's like, ever seen a goat eat itself? And then Kieran's like, if it is driven to, it will. And Barry's like, what are we talking about? And Kieran's like, everything.
So weird.
So Tim's talking to Julie, and he's explaining to Julie that Barry is a sweet guy, but he's a tornado of destruction. And the only friends he has are dead mice because they can't get away from him. And that's when Barry is behind him and he hears all of it.
That's why you got to check behind you. That's
why you don't talk about people in general like that when they're in the near vicinity.
And Barry says, you know what else mice can't do? They can't lie. And he walks off real sad. And Julie says that she's going to San Francisco tonight and she'll come by and pack around 8. She thinks it's better if he's not there. So Barry saunters off into a pond with his shoes on and just stands in the water.
The wet socks, leather shoes.
And Tim sees him, and I guess, Barry feels like he's lost everything since Tim has broken his heart. He thought he had a good friend, and Tim has lost everything. He lost the girl of his dreams. And so he does the same thing. He just walks off into the pond and stands next to Barry and Barry says that I never knew what Martha thought of me until I heard her talking right behind my back. How do I get ahead in business? How do I get a handle on this? I know. I'll hit a great taxidermist with my car, and then I'll invite him to dinner. That'll do it. Well, somebody told you somebody hasn't told you that there isn't a me in mean. And Tim says, well,
there is a me.
Tim says, well, there is a bit of happy ending because the mean guy has finally got what he deserves. And Barry starts doing this little money-like symbol with his index finger and his thumb. And Tim's looking at it and he's like, oh, this is the smallest violin playing for you. And Tim says, sorry. And he walks off.
At least he didn't try to lie to his face about how he doesn't like him. So at least that gives him some sort of points. But I mean,
well, we get to this sad montage of Barry going to the workshop, being frustrated. And then he kind of gets this bolt of, what is it?
Inspiration.
Yeah. And he starts working on another piece.
Yeah, because he was about to throw away everything.
He was in the process of throwing everything away.
I thought it was going to be like a life change. Oh, no, I'm fixing myself. And he's like, nope.
Yeah, nope. And we see Tim at his apartment, and his boss calls and says, he might want to explain your actions to Mr. Mueller. When Mueller takes the phone, because Mueller is at the dinner with the boss, and he says, you should have told me Barry was your fool. We have the same game in Switzerland. It's the dinner of Ulsenslagen. And he's still happy with Tim and wants to see him for the dinner.
Hey.
So Tim shows up to the dinner, and as he finds his boss, he tries to explain that, we got a little problem with the guests, but the boss says, never mind that. He wants to make sure that tonight goes good. We need to make this sell. And then he says that Barry is already here, and he is amazing. And we see that Barry's already there and he's already telling stories and stuff. He's talking to this guy, this ventriloquist, with a puppet, which is his wife.
The puppet's nips are
about to fall out.
Yes. And it's such a big mouth. And then when I first seen this puppet, I'm just like, it's such a big mouth. I was like, is he doing a blowjob on this damn thing? Because it's his wife. So.
Well, there's some fascinating people around here. They took a look around the room, and there's a guy who feeds a vulture from his mouth.
Oh my gosh!
And then there's a girl who communicates with dead animals. There's the 2002 national beard champion and a blind swordsman.
The beard guy. Come on, man.
He a loser, bro.
Yeah. What the heck?
He's a weirdo.
But I mean, it's an impressive beard. I mean, it is very styled, and he does take a straw out to put it in the wine glass to drink because he doesn't want to mess up the beard. But I don't know, how do they find all these people? Where do they go to interact?
This is my thing. Is if I'm a normal person and I get invited to this shit, I'm gonna go to my guy and be like, what the fuck? What is this?
That's why you ain't getting invited. The guest stars really show their personalities when the swordsman does a demonstration of his powers. And the beard guy asks the vulture dude, are they cute when they're babies or are they always horrible? And the puppet lady sitting next to Tim asks are you looking down my shirt? And he says, no, And then she says, why not? and then the lady who can talk to dead animals starts speaking for the lobster, the dead lobster dinner that they have. And she starts experiencing his last moments of life. And Tim Boss says, oh, wow. Tim, does your guest have a hobby or anything?
Well, my thing is when she's communicating, like she's squealing, she's freaking out, she's dying. But how does she communicate with the pets when she speaks English? The animals don't speak English. So how does that even make sense?
She's a medium.
Like, how is that working?
Yeah, she got the power. She has the power.
But
Bow, bow, bow.
Barry has a great perspective because he's like, these are awesome people. Like, this guy is over here, speaks to, or what the hell did he say? I don't know. He had a great perspective. I don't know exactly what he said, but
Positive perspective.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so the thing that made me laugh is that whenever she was going through the life of the lobster, everybody was like, yeah, I'm not
I ain't this. But one guy's like,
One
yeah.
guy's like, yeah, fuck it. Well, Barry says, I'm up. And he gets up and he shows this huge project that he's been working on with his dead mice. He had different mice dressed up as historical people. The Wright brothers, Vincent van Gogh, Benjamin Franklin, Louis Pastel, Evel Knievel, and even one of them dressed up as Tim and his wife, Julie. And he says that Tim is a dreamer.
Fiancé, not his girlfriend.
Well, it was at the wedding.
Yeah, he's talking about the dreams
Oh, the
because he
mouse.
was, yeah.
And he says Tim is a dreamer. And Barry's presentation was amazing. Everyone gives him a round of applause. And that is when one of the coworkers says the night is young. And he brings in his guest. And he come in a little late, but comes in with a damn cape. It's Thurman. And he starts talking about his mind control and how it's possible to control the mind. And he starts focusing on Barry and puts the mind control on Barry. And the German guy asks Barry, no, that ain't right. Thurman asks Barry, he says, where's your wife? And Barry says, she's at your house. And Thurman says, yes. And then he asks Barry, why did your wife leave? And Barry doesn't want to say, but Thurman keeps persisting and telling him to say it. Say it, Barry. And Barry says, I lost her clitoris.
I thought I looked under the bed. I looked in the drawers.
Yes.
Looks in her purse. Everything that she loses is always in her purse.
Mm-hmm. And one lady's like, wait. You lost her clitoris? And she's like, yeah, I looked in the purse because everything's in there. And
oh, poor Barry.
yeah, they was like, do you know what a clitoris? You know what a clitoris is? And he was like, well, I don't know what half the stuff in our purse is.
Why does also Barry keep falling for these damn mind controls? Like,
I thought I found it on the couch, but it was a piece of old chewing gum. And Thurman says, I release you. And Barry is released. And everyone starts clapping. Tim gets up and signals for Barry to come to him. So they go outside and start talking. And he tells Barry that you're better than him. Martha may not be able to see it, but I do. And Barry says, you're a good friend, Tim. And Tim says, no, I'm not. He tells exactly what the dinner's for. He says, we've invited you here to make fun of you. And Barry says, you invited a bunch of good, talented people to make fun of him? He says, no, Barry, we invited idiots. And Barry says, well, you better go find some idiots. And Tim says, We did. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But if it's any consolation, Thurman will probably win first prize. And that's when Barry looks at him and says, yeah, he'll have that too. He'll be able to lord that over me for the rest of my life.
He said, no, it means he's the biggest idiot.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
Yeah. He says, I know that guy beats me at everything. What's the use? He has mind control. I don't have nothing. And Tim says, Barry, look at me. Thurman has mind control, but you have brain control. You didn't know you had brain control? I knew it the second that I met you. You crawled in my brain and you stayed there, and I can't get rid of you no matter how hard I try. You burrowed your way into my brain through my ear like an earwig. It's like you set up camp and I can't get you out of my head. It's like the teeth and the spikes and all you're spilling out millions of earwig eggs all in my brain. I can't do anything about it. Brain control beats mind control any day of the week.
There you go.
And Barry says, because the brain tells the mind what to do. And Tim says, you can beat this guy. You can beat this guy, Barry. You can beat Thurman. You may say I'm a dreamer. And Barry finishes and says, but I'm not the only one.
At least it's very sweet that he is hyping Barry up to at least to win something to make him feel good.
And Barry says, yeah, and Barry says, I'm going to lay eggs in his brain. So he goes back in, and Thurman says, you're back for more, Barry? And Barry says, yes, but this time I brought my secret weapon, my brain. Tim says, he's talking about brain control, Thurman. And Thurman says, there ain't no such thing. There's mind control, but brain control is ridiculous. And then Barry starts repeating everything that Thurman says as if he's making Thurman say it. And this
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yes. And I guess Thurman starts believing it too. So it starts this whole imaginary gun battle back and forth. And this climactic scene, which if it had special effects, this would have been like the most expensive scene in the world. They were going back and forth. But Barry starts saying a bunch of like secret stuff that Thurman has told nobody, and Barry shouldn't know. Thurman's getting kind of freaked out. He's starting to believe, wait a minute, he might have brain control. What is going on here?
Yeah, because it was like after sex, like what he does after like some random like
Like
weird.
he dresses his penis up or something.
Yeah.
Whatever he does, it's like, what the hell, bro?
And so he gets upset and he says, I hope you all kept your receipts because you're getting audited. And Barry's like, I release you. And so Barry won. And then he starts laughing. He's like, he says all that stuff after he slept with my wife. I was under the bed the whole time.
Gosh.
Oh, God. So the boss says, we have a tradition here that we'll be giving the winner of the night of this extraordinary person a trophy. And he gives it to Barry. Barry is the winner.
Hey.
And Mueller comes up and shakes his hand and is like, you have to come to Switzerland for me at one time. And Barry's like, I can't understand your accent. So this guy is amazing. Barry's amazing. And Tim says, yeah, he is amazing. And he deserves a hell of a lot better than this. And the boss says, what do you mean? And Tim says that any one of you will throw me in front of a bus to get ahead. But Barry would throw himself in front of a car to save a mouse that's already dead. So he goes over to Tim and tries to explain to him, that you don't need that trophy. He goes to Barry. Tim's explaining to Barry that you don't need this trophy. And Barry says that he tells everyone about the contest. And Mueller says, wait a minute, this contest was fixed? I thought you conducted this yourself honorably. And the boss says, well, Tim had a very bright future here, and he chose to throw it away with a lot of losers. And the blind man says, did he just call us losers? And you have insulted my honor. And as he leaves, he accidentally runs into the waiter, but he takes that as somebody trying to fight him. So he pulls out his sword and says, well, you may have lived in your world for long enough, but now it's time for you to live in mine. And he flicks a light switch that only cuts off
like a picture
one
frame
lamp.
light or something.
And he says, in the world of darkness, the ones who can see are blind, but the blind can see. On God. He starts swinging his sword wildly, which creates this chaos of people trying to get away from him. And Mueller says that this is a fiasco. And Barry says, the Swedish guy, he thinks he's German. He's an idiot too, which pisses off Mueller even more. And he tries to make a point with his finger when the swordsman slices that finger off.
He's like, my wife's favorite finger.
Yes.
Was it at that point?
Yes. And it goes flying onto the table, which the vulture immediately goes down and grabs and starts flying around the room. And people are yelling and screaming, get the vulture, get the vulture. So they start grabbing like the fire pokers, trying to swing at the vulture and kill it while he's circling the room. Tim sees the painting and Barry has the wine in his hand. And he goes, Barry, throw it. Well, the boss says, you better not move. I'll kill you. I promise I will. And Tim says, shall I? So he grabs a bottle from him and throws it to this beautiful stained glass. And the vulture goes flying out with the finger. The swordsman slices some candles, which catch the curtains, dry ass curtains on fire that had to be soaked in kerosene or something.
Fast, bro.
And and so Barry and them's like, should we leave? And they end up leaving. The fire department ends up showing up, and Barry and Tim were able to get away.
Well, did you see at the scene when they were walking out, there was a guy laying over another guy, and he was saying like, "Don't you die on me." Who was that, and who in the hell was he talking to?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
See
There was some
that?
real chaos in here.
Yeah, because there was, when they were walking out at the scene, they were on the grass, and there was like the ambulance and the fire trucks. So I was like, I couldn't see who it was or who either of them were. But it's Tim lost his job.
Yep, he did. But as they arrive at the apartment, they're looking for Julie, hoping to get in there and find her before she left. But they find a note, and Barry says, "There's a positive way to read that, Tim." And he says, "Oh yeah, how?" "Hey Tim, have a nice life." And Barry said, "This is all my fault, isn't it?" And Tim says, "No, this is my fault. I'm the reason this happened. I messed up." And you want to hear something pathetic? And that's when Julie comes into the door and Barry sees her. And Barry looks back at Tim and says, yeah, I want to hear something pathetic. And he says, "You know why I wanted the promotion? So that Julie would think that I was good enough for her. I was stupid. I couldn't believe someone so amazing would want anything to do with me. I tried to impress her with stuff she doesn't care about, that I don't care about. And you know what I care about?" And Barry says, "What else, Tim?"
I'm still peeking glances at Julie. I'm like, how does Tim not see that his eyes keep going the other way?
Well, oh, damn. Oh, hey.
Well, I mean, Barry is kind of special. Waking up next to her every day, seeing her every day. Barry's like, and more things? And Tim says, "She's the greatest thing in my life, and I blew it. I'm an idiot." And Tim says, what are you doing?" And Barry kind of looks behind him and sees Julie, and she heard everything. And Tim said, hey. And she says, "Did you know I was listening?" And Tim says, "No." But Barry says, I did. And Tim tries to apologize. That's when Kieran comes to the door. And before he can say anything, Barry says, "I'll handle this." He goes over to Kieran and says, "Since the dawn of ancient time, men and women have striven to find the perfect mate. And once in a while, a couple will meet and spark a passion that is so powerful, 1,000 armies could not pull them apart. That is what you have with Julie. But Tim got there first. And if Julie leaves, it will kill him. People can die of a broken heart. I know. It almost happened to me. And because of that, you may see Julie no more. You may talk to Julie no more. You may look upon Julie's face no more." And Julie says, "Okay, but we work together, so..." And Barry says, "What part of no more do you not understand?" But Julie said, "Well, we had a talk, and that's... We're purely professional." And Kieran says, "No, he's right, Julie. If we start this fire, we'll burn this world to ashes." And Julie says, "What are you talking about?" And Barry says, "If you start this fire..." And then Kieran has to help him finish. We'll burn the world to ashes. Oh, yeah, so that's so weird.
So the curtains ended up, it was the glasses. When he ran into the waiter, the glasses with the alcohol ended up falling and breaking where the candles were at.
What type of damn alcohol they drinking?
Shit.
They're drinking that flammable, that
the stuff that you brought to the cruise. You gave, bro.
190 proof.
Okay, hold on. It should be coming up like the next, when they're walking out.
You shall look upon Julie's face no more.
Right there. Wait, where'd it go? Right there. Right there.
Somebody is
Don't
dying.
you die on me.
That's the damn puppet.
Oh,
It was the I'm sorry, guys. We went back a little bit to the scene that Koala was talking about, and it turns out the puppet was trying to be resuscitated.
Damn.
They tried to bring it back to life. I don't know if they saved her or not.
Jeez.
But back to the apartment. We're with Kiri and Julie and all them, and they're finally saying their goodbyes. And
So Julie lost her job.
yeah, Julie
too.
looks at Tim and says, "Well, there goes my museum show." And Tim says, "Welcome to my world."
Yep.
"Julie, I love you. I don't care if we get married. I'll stop asking." And she says, "Don't stop asking." And they share a kiss. And Kieran says a weird goodbye to Barry where they're tapping on each other's shoulders and faces and stuff. And he says, "Barry, you are a wise man." And Barry's like, "You too, my friend." He says, "Be kind to your goats and birds." And Barry goes over and gives Julie and Tim a big hug. So it's a 3-way hug. And Barry says, we're all going to be so happy together. Tim got this weird look on his face like, what the hell? And then we hear Barry say, all things happen for a reason. because Barry's telling us a little update on what happened afterwards. He says Tim got fired, lost his job, but I invite him to breakfast. It's called the Breakfast of Champions.
Once a month.
Once a month.
I'm Barry host.
And Kieran is doing him and Barry are doing their art together, and they show their art all over the world, including South Africa, where they met Morgan Freeman. Tim went on to help Martin Mueller convert his munitions factory into the Martin Mueller Museum of Modern Art, the MMA. Yeah, the And Kieran and him collaborated on a sculpture for the opening, which was a giant finger with that ring on it, and at the bottom it says, "My wife's favorite finger." He says he met up with Darla again, and boy, does she like to role play. She had me play the detective, and she left all these clues. And you know what? I found it.
He finally found it. I finally found the clitoris.
So Thurman wrote a new book, and it's very popular in some circles. And it shows Thurman in like a madhouse with padded walls and a bunch of people in straitjackets.
He went into an asylum.
Hold on. Is it Darla or was it Puddin'?
No, it was Darla.
No, it was Darla.
Yeah.
Martha, no. He didn't get with Martha. He got with Darla.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's Darla and Barry.
And Barry says, you know what? They say a mind is a terrible thing. Oh, yeah. As for Tim and Julie, well, Julie finally said yes. And they went to Paris for their honeymoon. I waited around to surprise them, but it never felt like the right time. And we see a picture of Barry up under the bed,
Good Lord,
like in mouse form. And he says they curated they both got curated several times. And then the screen fades to black and the words go up on Dinner for Schmucks.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. How about that?
I feel like they just took him in. They took Barry in.
They might have. But let's go ahead and get into our facts segment so we can teach some people maybe little things that they didn't know about Dinner for Schmucks.
Extra, extra, hear all about it.
We got the facts.
All right, I'll start this bad boy off with Steve Carell's character was originally left-handed. However, Carell isn't left-handed in real life, so he learned to use his left hand for the role. Grizz?
I want to expand on that before I get mine. There was a producer came in and was like, "Hey, Steve, I didn't know you was left-handed." He's like, "I'm not. The character is, though." So he fooled people. Yeah, that's crazy. But this wasn't supposed to be Paul Rudd and Steve Carell. It was originally written for Steve Martin and Bill Murray.
How about that?
Y'all think this movie would have been funnier with those two in there? Or
Depending on, I guess, who is who.
I think Bill Murray would have been the goofy guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Possibly. I guess they could play either role because Steve Martin's, he's funny. He doesn't play stupid funny, but he can.
I don't know. Maybe. Me?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Koala.
So I do want to add on to pandas, too. So at the very beginning of the movie, you see that he spray painted the mice with his left hand, but when he was hand painting the cheese, he did it with his right hand. So there's a little nugget. See, mine is the exterior shot of the house where the dinner is held is the same as Stately Wayne Manor from the original Batman television series.
Ooh, how about
Panda?
The film features a nod to the original French movie. In one scene, a bottle of Dom Perignon is labeled Verber, which is the last name of the director of the French film Le Dîner des Cons that inspired Dinner for Schmucks. Grizz?
So with that, Le Dîner des Cons, inspirations were also pulled from an episode of Married with Children. If you want to see it, it's season 6, episode 20, where they kind of do the same thing. Koala.
This was filmed over a period of 55 days when Steve Carell's TV show The Office was on hiatus. Panda?
How about that? The elaborate dioramas created by Steve Carell's character were real works of art. They were designed and built by a team of artists, and some took weeks to complete. Grizz?
Nice. With the two legends that I told you about, it was written for, a third legend who was alive at the time was also considered legendary Robin Williams. Yeah.
About that.
Koala.
Let's see. You took mine, but I will go with my next one. When this project was in early development, Sacha Baron Cohen was set to play the lead. I think I butchered that name.
But
Panda.
Dinner for Schmucks was a box office success, growing over 138 million worldwide. It just goes to show that audiences love a good laugh, which kind of reminds me that I don't think I said how much this movie made. I normally do that before, but I don't think I did this time. I'm sorry, guys. I skipped over that. I'll use it as my next fact. Go ahead.
Okay.
Grizz?
So I like whenever they incorporate other movies that they did. So when Tim was talking about the bomb lamps, he threw in something from Anchorman that Steve Carell said, where he was like, I love lamp. And so he said, look, Tim, whenever he was trying to put you, he was like, Mueller, yeah, he loves lamp. Koala.
Interesting. The movie uses two The Beatle elements. One is the song Fool on the Hill, used in the opening and closing song number, and the other is a lyric, I'm a Dreamer, but I'm not the only one, from John Lennon's song Imagine. Panda?
It made $138 million on a $62.7 million budget.
I'm good, so you guys can go back and forth.
Okay, so this is my last one. Jeff Dunham, who plays Louis the ventriloquist, and his wife Debbie, is a popular comedian known for his ventriloquism. Debbie, renamed Diane, went on to appear as part of his act in Dunham's Identity Crisis tour in 2010.
How about that? And that'll be it for us on our facts. We'll move on to our final thoughts.
So she was a movie star before she was on stage.
How about that?
Nice.
I thought Dinner for Schmucks was an okay one. It wasn't that it's not one that I'd watch over and over again. The comedy's okay. It's kind of hit and miss for me. The relationship between Barry and Tim is good. You know, it's kind of unrealistic because, you know, if I were Tim, I would have gotten rid of Barry a long time ago. But after him, you know, because he dug such a hole for him in his life, you know, I don't know. But, you know, it was a fun little misadventure. But I guess the whole thing was to show, you know, the boss people a lesson. You know, you don't do stuff like this. It's kind of rude. I mean, but it was, you know, it had a heartwarming ending. It just wasn't there for me to, you know, to just repeat quotes from movies and remember scenes. This one just doesn't stick for me. So I say it's an okay one. Koala, if you could communicate with dead animals, would you let me eat your pudding? or would you say that Dinner for Schmucks is a good one?
Not flow together whatsoever. Okay, so I think Dinner for Schmucks is an okay one. It's very cringy. It does have stupid humor, which I laugh a few times, but I think they definitely went overboard on it. I highly give Steve Carell his props. I think he does a great job in this movie. I think his acting skills, Barry's definitely cringeworthy, and he was spot on with his acting. I definitely think that they could have shortened the movie a bit. The whole time I'm thinking, why does Tim keep messing with Barry? Why let him stay? He could have prevented some of the damage that was done, but I don't know. I've never seen this movie before, and I kept procrastinating rewatching it, so I think it's just not one that I would just watch again. So overall, I think it's an okay one.
Thank you, Koala. Grizz? If someone had mind control over you, would you use brain control against him? Or would you say that Dinner for Schmucks is a good one?
People in earwigs all up in their brain. I think it's a good one. I kind of love the awkward comedies because it makes you sit in uncomfortableness. It makes me laugh so much. The stuff that I see in this movie is like, you really don't get to see Steve Carell and Paul Rudd be as silly as they were in this movie. Because it's like that one time when he was picking him up because his back was hurting, and then he straddled them like they're about to have sex or something like that. It was pretty funny, man, because it's like, who does that shit? I know they try hard, but I feel like them being awkward is a part of that. So I'll say it's a good one. It makes me laugh. I remember going to the movies to see this, so I like it.
That's all right. Now let's move on to Movie 20 Questions, which will be hosted by Grizz.
All right.
So let's let the interrogation begin.
Who is this coming from?
This is coming from Beverly Anderson out of Nashville.
Okay.
How about that? All right, so want to get the year down?
Yeah.
Get the year down. Well, let's probably get down a month too. Where we going first?
I would probably say before 2000s. Let's start with that.
Like 80s. Let's try 80s first.
Do you want to be that specific or just leave
80s
it?
and 90s.
Okay, I would do something like that.
All right. Does this movie come out in the 80s and or 90s?
No.
So is it earlier or later?
No. Let's see. 2000, 2010?
Yeah.
Did this movie come out in between 2000 and 2010?
No.
Oh. I mean, we can go sooner. It might have come out yesterday. Did this movie come out between 2011 and 2020?
No.
You want to do, but just say it was before the 80s? Because if we keep doing like 80s, like 70s to 80s, like we're already on the fourth question.
Did this movie come out between 2021 and now?
No.
So, okay. Earlier than the 80s then. Does the movie come out in the 70s? First five, we get the date. Get the year, okay?
No.
The 60s? Like a silent film? Did this movie come out in the 60s?
No.
This movie come out before the 60s?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not in the 60s, so it's got to be in the 50s, 40s, 30s.
30s, 20s, 10s, like.
I just want to make sure that one's going down.
You're fucking us over here.
What?
You should have said.
Quit playing. Ain't no way to single that down that much unless you just guessed a decade and got it right. You want to see if it's a black and white film?
I mean, was there before the fucking 60s anything but black and white? So.
You may be right. So you want to go? So you want to?
We kind of really need to get the year down to be able to.
Yeah, but then you're going to start complaining every time I ask a question about it. So what do you want to do? So I can complain about what you do.
So it's before the 60s. So we still got, you want to do 10-year increments, 40s, the 40s?
I've been doing 10 years.
50s?
50s, 60s, 70s. Did this movie come out in the 50s?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we got a decade.
You want to try a genre now?
I don't know. I think we singled out the 5 years. Get it closer.
Oh my gosh. So 50 to 55?
Yeah, this movie come out in between 50 and 55.
No.
All right, so we're at 56 to 58, 59.
59 would be 56 through 59. I feel like that's a decent amount to be able to do a genre. 4 years. Okay, this might be a very stupid question. I don't watch older movies like that. Is there tons of genres in that time period? Or is it simple as like romance, comedy, and action?
I'm sure.
Well, we need to get the genre done. Do they have horror? So it'd be
Nosferatu was a horror movie back in the day. Frankenstein's monster or whatever.
You want to do 2 genres? Like horror, comedy, and then if he says no, then action, romance.
Sure.
A horror comedy? You've been asking questions, so you ask.
Is this a horror or comedy?
No.
Is this you say action romance?
Yeah, action and romance.
Is this an action, romance, or biblical movie?
Ooh.
No.
Oh. What the hell else is there?
No action, no romance, no horror, no comedy, no
biblical. Do they do... Could do science fiction.
Could you do that, dear?
Yeah. Or drama. Oh, I forgot westerns. Or documentary. Documentary? Is that the word for it?
Documentary?
Oh, that too.
What's that what you saying words, right?
Oh, and animation too. Okay, so there's definitely a lot of what do you want to try to do the next group genres?
Let's do Western.
Okay. And
that's it.
That's the question. We're already on 12.
What are we though?
Yeah. If you want to just leave it to westerns, there's what did I say? Drama, there's suspense, there's thriller, there's musicals, animations. There's a crap ton of movies.
Okay, add what you want. I just want westerns.
Let's see. I'm gonna do Ooh, animation. Is this Western, drama, animation?
Yes.
Okay. You want to just ask for 2 of those 3? Western, drama, animation.
Well,
What are you thinking?
I wish you'd just ask for Western.
Okay, is this Western movie?
No.
Yeah, there you go. So drama or animation?
Rhinestone Cowboy. Bum, bum, bum.
This is an animation movie?
No.
So drama. So drama in the 56 through 59.
You want to try to single down the year? What kind of questions are that?
We just asked 14th.
Okay, so I'm at 15. Did this movie come out in 1957?
No.
56, 58, 59. Drama.
7s. Want to try 56?
Yeah.
So we can single it out there. Did this movie come out in 58 or 59? In one of those years. 58 or 59.
Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of those 2 of those years. Yeah, I was hoping it'd be a no and go to 56.
Right.
Well, that's the year and then go from there.
Yeah, we kind of screwed ourselves over. We're definitely going to have to do the year. This
movie come out in 58?
No.
Oh, 59.
Drama and 59.
What about the rating? We never asked about a rating before. What do you think about rating? Is this movie rated G?
Oh, you're talking about that. Is there a drama movie? G rating?
I don't even think they had ratings back in the day.
Bro, they did, bro. We got plenty of movies over here with ratings, bro. All right, just give us that question back. We'll ask something else.
It looks like I'm only seeing that one. So,
You want to get it in within 6 months?
no, we got the year. We need to figure something else out.
Yeah, if we can get the 6 months. Get closer and closer and
That's
closer.
what you want to do.
All right, did this movie come out in between January and June of 59?
1959.
January, June. Yes. Yeah, I feel like back in the day, movies only come out like once a month because it was so hard to like get on the projectors and stuff that they'll just play that whole movie just for the whole month until they get a new movie in.
We got no on animation, didn't we?
Yeah, no, it's drama.
Just drama. For your baby.
This is in June 3rd. Teenagers from outer space. Yeah. One.
So mom was born in 62.
62.
62, I think 62-ish. And she said she used to love this movie growing up. This is her favorite movie of all time. And she has yet to see a movie better than this, is what she said. So she said this is the best drama she's ever seen.
Okay,
so if you guys want to look at it, the name of it is, I will tell you later.
Scratch the teenagers because that's horror, sci-fi, and thriller. Okay, this is a drama, and it came out in May. Compulsion,
huh?
Have you seen that one yet? 2 wealthy law school students go on trial for murder. Murder.
What about The Imitation of Life?
Of life?
You said A Compulsion of Murder?
Compulsion.
What about The Anatomy of Murder?
Is it drama?
Everything's of murder.
39 Steps. The drama, and it was released in March.
All right, I got 5 actors.
Okay.
Does this movie have David Niven? Niven, Charlton Heston, Lawrence Harvey, Susan Hayward, or Simone Signore in it?
What was that 4th one?
Simone.
No, before that one. Before
Signore.
Lawrence.
Susan Hayward. There's David Niven, Charlton Heston, Lawrence Harvey, Susan Hayward, or Simone Signore.
No.
All right, it's a trash movie then. Those are the best actors to fit the gun.
How many questions was that?
19.
One more question left?
Yeah, 1 question and a guess.
Okay, was it confirmed? No.
Yeah, it was a no on that one, so we got 1 question and a guess. And this is my guess.
Some like it hot.
Some like it hot.
Did Compulsion, Imitation of Life, or The 39 Steps have the other actors in it?
No, this got Marilyn Monroe in it.
No, I don't care. Ask if it has Marilyn Monroe in it.
No,
I gave up.
Does this movie have Marilyn Monroe in it?
No.
Nah.
That was your last question. What's your guess?
No, it's not that one. Not The Anatomy of Murder.
39 Steps could be it.
What was it, drama?
Drama. It's comedy, crime, drama, mystery, thriller.
What's not to love?
There's that one, and then
Give it a shot.
hold on, no, there's another one.
No, she gave it a shot. It's probably neither one of them.
He just wants it over with, man.
Yeah, just give it a shot.
You only got one guess.
Or it could also be compulsion. That
Yeah, it's
doesn't
neither
have
one of them.
either of those. Yeah, it's probably not. I don't care.
Do the first one.
The compulsion or the 39 steps?
39 steps.
Is this movie the 39 steps?
No.
Oh, man.
This movie
It better not be Ben-Hur.
is no, it's not. This movie is, you said it a couple of times, Imitation of Life. Yeah.
You said that.
Oh, I said it?
Yeah, I had it written down too.
So Imitation of Life is an aspiring white actress takes in a African-American widow whose mixed-race daughter is desperate to be seen as white. And she goes through the trials and tribulations of being black in the racist America back then.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Was it black and white?
It was black and white, and they converted it to color later on. It has stars Lana Turner, John Gavin, Sandra Dee, and a couple more people that I don't fucking know.
I don't know any of them.
Yep. It had a budget, which this is crazy. I don't know why it says this. I think they didn't add a couple of zeros, but it said it had a budget of $2 million to make. I guess that's...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Back then?
Back then. I guess it could be now. Like they
could have bought the country with $2 million.
I think they adjusted for inflation, but it claims the budget of $2 million and then a gross worldwide of $365.
What?
$365.
Ain't no way.
I bet it was like $200 or something that they made for it.
Not $365 million, not $365,000, $365.
Yeah, I think they buffed up their first one. They didn't buff up the second one.
Yeah, but yeah, my mom says this is a remake from what's the first movie? I think it's called Claudette Colbert's Imitation of Life back in 35, I believe. But then they remade it and they said this one is the best drama back in the day.
Back in the day.
Your mom ain't watched another movie since. But yeah.
I was thinking about checking it out just to get a little perspective on how my mom likes movies. So I might be checking this out a little bit later.
You'll have to let us know because I think the only black and white movie I've ever watched is what, Frankenstein?
No,
it's The Hunchback, Notre Dame. That wasn't too bad. It was silent though.
Yeah, it was a silent film.
So I think the black and white part would be fine. It's the
like
silent.
in the background. You see color? It's like old people color, but I mean, hey, it's whatever.
Well, that's all right, guys. That'll be it for us. Please remember to like, follow, subscribe, even comment. Comment on wherever you see this at. And give us a good rating. Wherever you can rate, just rate it up. Rate it up ironically, too. You don't like it, just put 5 stars on it. Give us all you got. Be on the lookout for our next movie of Who Am I? No, I'm not asking you a question. That's the name of the movie. And that'll be it from us at We Real Reels. Grizz? Koala?
Bye.
Keep on reeling.